Hey everybody, welcome back to the shop. Today it's part 3 in our table build series. Today's video is going to be all about table legs. As you can see here, I have 4 table legs dimensioned. So I've already done these. I filmed everything. We're going to show you all that in a minute. I want to just touch base here. These are going to be done a little bit different than normal. If you watched my beginning of April shop update video, you know that my planer is dead. So these were done without the use of a planer. Unfortunately, in this coronavirus time here, I really just can't run out and buy another planer. And I really want to shop around and put my hands on a few. I have a couple ideas of what I want to buy, and you really can't do that right now. So unfortunately, we're going to finish this table without a planer, and that is why I haven't been able to get the videos out every couple of days like I had planned. So in case you were wondering where the table videos went, that's the reason. But fear not, these legs are ready. They are fully dimensioned with the jointer, the table saw, and we actually use the radial arm saw to get them all to the exact same length. So let's go down to the basement and I'll show you how I did it. Alright guys, we're going to do a little voiceover here on this glue up, and I'm running this through fast forward as it's a pretty simple glue up here. You can see I put glue on one side and then I'm kind of spreading it around by rubbing the two boards together, adding a little bit more glue here and there, and then just taking some parallel clamps. And I'm going to be honest, parallel clamps are a godsend for this kind of glue up, guys. I know I talk about my Harbor Freight F clamps a lot, and they are great little clamps, but for certain glue ups, parallel clamps really work well, and this is one of them because I can stack them here on end and they'll stand up, and I can just put this thing in and it makes it easy. You can see I am using an F clamp on either end here. That is to keep the ends nicely glued tight as well. I want a good solid glue up here, and these parallel clamps definitely give me that. Okay guys, after the glue up was completed, I did it 3 more times obviously and came up with 4 leg blanks. I didn't mention in the last piece, but I did face joint the 2 ends in the middle that I glued together where the glue went. So they were face jointed smooth before I put the glue on them and glued them together so they get a good tight seal. And now what I'm doing is running a finish face over the joiner, and I didn't speed this up because this is only about a minute clip, and I want to show you guys how I do this. So basically you just run the board over the joiner until you get a solid continuous cut. Now I know I killed the volume here so you're not hearing it, but at the first couple of cuts it was cutting at the beginning, there was a gap in the middle, and then it was cutting at the end. And you keep going over the board until it cuts the full length, and then you've gotten it trued up and flat. Alright guys, in that last section we completed face jointing. I did all 4 boards. I showed you one of them. Now what we're doing is taking that face and putting it against the fence and running the edges through. And I show you one here, but I'm doing it to all 4 boards as well. And what this process does is give us a nice, clean, square 90-degree angle that we can take to the table saw, which will be the next step. Okay, now what I'm doing is setting up the narrowest of the 4 boards against the fence, and then getting the feather board set so that I could rip all 4 of them through to be dimensioned the same size. You notice they look a little thinner here. I did take these and rough trim them on the table saw off camera, just so that I had something closer to a line to work to. They were just, some of these things I glued up at 3.5 inches, almost 4 inches, and they were just way too wide, so I just cleaned them up a little bit. And here we go running, we're just kissing this one because he's the skinniest of the 4. We have the face up against the fence and the edge down on the table. And that cleans it up and makes it square. Okay, the final squaring step I did here is these things have kind of been oblong the whole time I've been doing this. So after I ran all 4 boards through with the blades set here, I just flipped them 25 degrees and squared them up. So now what we have is perfectly square legs. These legs turned out being 1 5/8 thick, which is thinner than I wanted, but will work for this 40-inch table. It's a kind of a small table, and it'll work. Honestly, I should have purchased some thicker lumber for the legs, but I got away with what I had in house, and it's going to work for my needs. Okay guys, the final step here is to make these 4 legs the same length. First, I'm taking all 4 and just trimming one end clean, and then we're going to clamp a stop block here at 29 1/4 inches and run all 4. Oh, gotta double check, make sure I don't want to have a short leg, and then run all 4 through from that stop block area, and that gives us 4 perfectly dimensioned length legs. Okay, so there you have it. We now have 4 perfectly dimensioned legs. They're not complete yet. As you know, we still have to taper these and put mortises in them, but that'll end this video. As you saw, it was a little more work than normal to do these legs because I glued them up. The glue up took a little bit more time, and it's a little bit more work, but I got to use the scraps I had in my possession instead of going out and buying 8/4 lumber, which would have been a hell of a lot easier. And honestly, with the planer being dead, it would have definitely helped me out. But we got there. These legs are going to work fine, and the next videos coming up will be, I want these to sit here in the shop now. I don't know if you can see, sitting here on the table, they're slightly, you see this one has a little bit of a twist to it. They have slightly moved in the time since I finished them. They've been up, I've actually finished these a couple of days ago. So what I want them to do is sit up here in the shop now. It's a little bit drier up here. I want them to acclimate to this shop. So the next couple of videos will not be the next step on these legs. It'll be the tabletop glue up and the aprons. I'm going to do one of the long aprons with a hand plane. So those will be the next 2 videos. That'll give these time to acclimate, and then we can sure them up with a hand plane, get them back to perfectly square, and then we can cut the mortises. So that's coming up the next couple of 3 videos. I'm hoping you're liking this series. If you are, go ahead and hit the like button. Please subscribe if you haven't, and share these videos if you're enjoying them. Thanks again for watching, guys. Have a good day.